Okay, so we're just going to have a quick walk around the car and note what's actually been done. It's kind of worth me recording it. So the first thing that's happened is down here we've replaced or upgraded the stereo with an aerial. You can see the aerial is kind of over here. It's a DAV aerial. I'm going to leave the remote control in because actually it's a bit of a faff reaching down, and if Jenny or myself's in the passenger seat, we can use the remote control to control the stereo. But otherwise there's not that much to do in there. I think there might be a couple of rattles and things like that, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. A lot of the work has gone on under here. We've got a new radiator going in. We had a faulty plug on the old radiator, but to be honest, the radiator itself was a bit crusty. I knew that when I bought it, and I thought, well, at some point it's going to need to be restored. So why not do it now? I've got this glorious space in here with my toolkit over here, so it's able to. It's actually been incredible fun doing the work so far. So I'm going to run through a few of the things that I've actually done. It's had a general clean-up, really. I've been through the wiring and found on some forums where a lot of the wiring goes. So down here there's a jumble of cables, and it's been quite useful on the forums looking at that. You'll see that I've repainted the exhaust manifold heat shield, which is this thing here, with heat resistant paint. Front of the engine, the manifold's still quite, I guess it's reached that level of, I don't know, passive corrosion, I suppose you'd call it. You'll notice that the front of the engine's quite clean, which is quite good. And compared to when I bought the car, these are just peripheral bits, by the way. Compared to when I bought the car, the rocker cover is very clean. Front face of the engine is very clean. You couldn't read there's some numbers just by the manifold there. You couldn't read the numbers on the manifold. There's an engine lift hook in the centre of the screen. I've actually cleaned that as well. The airbox and things is out of the way, so I'm thinking about cleaning the alternator and electrical stuff that's above it. I've attacked it a bit with a wire brush and it seems to be smartening it up a bit, but I'm thinking about having a go with the Dremel. Sounds a bit crazy, but I'm going to do that. And then the rad and radiator housing, which are on the front here, I haven't really attacked those yet. You'll notice it's not got a fan in it. I've actually gone online and bought a second-hand fan. Actually, it's new old stock fan to go in there, because it had a 6-blade fan in there and I'm not sure that's quite right. So I've gone for an OEM part. Another thing that when I bought the car that was quite, I wouldn't say it's bizarre, but I was a bit concerned about it, was the headlights seemed to be kind of out of alignment. And there are these adjusters here, you'll notice, and you've got a little adjuster at the back here, which is like a little, try and get that in there. You can twist and adjust the headlights. Now that wasn't working properly on both headlights. In fact, this is slightly broken here. If I compare it to the other one, you notice it's got this metal reinforcing section here. So I'm going to try and remake that. Instead of just chucking it away and getting a new headlight because of that, I'm actually going to make a little brass fixture to replace this. Put that in. You'll actually notice there's no adjuster in here. The reason there's no adjuster is because the adjuster's actually here. I've been restoring this, so that's all siliconed up. I'll probably take the other adjuster out as well. That's quite good at pointing. To do that, I've got the battery on charge. The battery had really ugly RAC stickers on it, so I removed those. I always think if you have an RAC or AA branded battery, it just looks like you've been stuck somewhere and you've had a recovery guy replace the battery for you. So it looks a bit sort of, I just think it looks a bit shit. So I've got the battery on a maintainer here. I've taken the stickers off it. I'm going to put some Varta branding on it because it's actually a Varta battery. And I've been a sad git and put a Peugeot Sport sticker that should hopefully show through in there. Another of my recent purchases was this beautiful device here that came from a jeweller's. It's an ultrasonic bath. I've got that ultrasonic bath full of Rust-Oleum, and Rust-Oleum is absolutely incredible. It'll clean off all the rust from your components. So in here I've got a lot of the things that I've cleaned up. It's the old thermostat. If you take this component here, that was like really rusty. That's the fixture for the front grille or the front cross member, one of the two. And it just brings them up an absolute treat. So yeah, I've been restoring some of the components that have come off here. What else have I got to do? Well, I need to check the wiring. If I can't do that, I'll get someone else in to do it. I've actually booked an electrician to come and have a check over of it. I've got to refill the cooling system, fit the new fan. I think a lot of this is one of those jobs where it sounds straightforward, but it's just not going to be straightforward. There will be little hiccups. So my backup plan is there's a garage over the road in that direction, and if I have trouble bleeding the system, I'll just drive it over there and get them to help me. And then we're going to do a full service on it. I love the way people say that. I'm going to do a full service on it. So we've got all the spark plugs here to be changed. I've got a new air filter to go in. Engine oil, I'll put in. Oil filters down there somewhere. It's actually really easy to get to compared to other cars, so that'll be changed. I'm going to do the cooling system first. I've got some ready mixed antifreeze to put in it, which is a bit of a cheat, but I'd like to know it's been mixed up properly and there's no contamination. So I've got that. You'll notice there's a big gap here, and that gap here is for the cooling bottle. The cooling bottle is, well, it was a bit skanky, so I've got rid of that. I've got a new one on order. I'm just trying to have a look around at what else there is. I'm cleaning the cap for the washer bottle. That's over there somewhere, so that'll be cleaned. And then the other thing I'm sort of deliberating on is around this scuttle area. So this scuttle panel, this black plastic panel here, is a bit broken at the edges. It's slightly disappointing. It's probably gone brittle over the years. So I'm thinking, well, there's a couple of things I'm thinking. There was a bit of a rattling while I'm driving along, and I'm wondering if it's that is responsible. So this bit over here, you can see, over there, is kind of very, very loose. So I'm going to try gaffer taping that down and see if it makes a difference to the rattling while it's driving, assuming I get it running again. And then we'll see where that goes. But like the fixing is pretty rusty, that's annoying me. I'm going to probably clean that up. And then there's this, what I can only describe as really manky washer bottle hose. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. It should be clear, and it's like a horrible brown colour. That's going to have loads of gack in it, and it's probably going to reduce the performance of the wiper, so I'll clean that up. Then there's a general sort of just cleaning the extremities of the under bonnet. I'll give it a go. I've started having a go at this, I guess it's the engine mount here. It's a lot cleaner than it was, but it's not perfect. Yeah, and then just checking everything over. I think I've found a home for all the wires. I've made notes of where everything is going to go, so I think we're in relatively good shape. But as with all these things, there will be snags, particularly when it comes to the cooling system. I think bleeding these engines is quite tricky, so I might need a bit of help, but we'll take it one step at a time and see where we're going. I absolutely love this little car. I think it's been so good because it's quite straightforward to take to bits, and from the bits that I've seen, reasonably okay to put together. I think a lot of that is a function of it being in pretty good condition to start with. If you get a really gacked up, greasy, oily car, it's always a battle to get components apart, whereas on this, stuff has come apart relatively okay so far. I imagine if I get under the wheels and things, then it might be a little bit different. But we'll give it another go and see where we are. So there we go, work in progress. Very, very enjoyable. I'll catch up again at some point.